कि मतलब ये इसकी कैटेगरी सर्विसेज है।
सिक्योरिटी एंड आइडेंटिफिकेशन कहाँ पे?
मतलब कोई भी ले लीजिए, डेटाबेस ले लीजिए या
ओके
कोई भी ले लीजिए, तो क्या ये जैसे कि इसमें कुछ चीजें दिखा रही हैं,
हाँ
जैसे ये आपका एप्लीकेशन ही है, एप्लीकेशन सर्विसेज की,
ओके
ठीक है। तो कोई भी बंदा इसमें से मतलब ये अलग अलग सर्विसेज दिखा रहे हैं, ये जो 7 है इसमें ये अलग अलग सर्विसेज हैं या इसी की कैटेगरी है कि जैसे मैंने पूरा जो भी कोई क्लाइंट होता होगा वो बोलता होगा ठीक है मैं ये एप्लीकेशन सर्विसेज ले रहा हूँ, ये सिक्योरिटी आइडेंटिटी ले रहा हूँ, स्टोरेज ले रहा हूँ, कंप्यूट ले रहा हूँ।
ये एक्चुअली कैटेगरी है, इन लोगों ने कैटेगराइज किया हुआ है उसमें, बट यू मे यूज वन ऑफ दिस और 2 of these or 3 of these डिपेंडिंग अपॉन रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है। बट कैटेगरी में जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल क्लाउड वॉच इज यूज्ड फॉर मॉनिटरिंग, क्लाउड फॉर्मेशन इज मेनली यूज्ड फॉर क्रिएटिंग अ टेम्पलेट एंड यूजर, तो पर्पस इज डिफरेंट। सो इफ यू हैव ओनली रिक्वायरमेंट कि सिर्फ मॉनिटर करना है तो यू विल यूज क्लाउड वॉच, ठीक है। अगर मॉनिटर नहीं करना है तो यू मे यूज क्लाउड फॉर्मेशन। ब्राउज ट्रेल ये सिर्फ ट्रैक करता है, ऐसे ही अलग अलग। ऊप्स वर्क इज वन यू यूज फॉर शेफ, अब जिसका इसका रिक्वायरमेंट है दे विल यूज ऊप्स वर्क, इसका नहीं है दे विल नॉट यूज। सो दे हैव जस्ट कैटेगराइज्ड दिस, बट एवरी इंडिविजुअल थिंग हियर दे हैव अ डिफरेंट पर्पस ऑल टुगेदर। लेकिन क्या है, देयर इज अ रिलेशन, लाइक ऑल दिस दे डील्स at storage level, that's why they are kept in one, ठीक है। वैसे डेटाबेस में as I told these are all database related stuff. Networking we have 3, route 53, direct connect and VPC. So only difference in this is direct VPC you create an isolated network, okay, and that network you connect it to the outside world, to the other one, okay. In direct connect what happens, you already have a network of your own, only thing is you connect it to a AWS network. So this your company can connect it to AWS and then it can talk, okay. And in route 53 same thing, but it works in the form of DNS, so you'll have an IP or you may have a domain name also to work for it, okay. Now your developer tools, this is especially for developer guys, okay. So you have code commit, this has a direct integration with Git repository. So if you have an account in Git and you are writing something on your EC2 instance or anywhere, नहीं ठीक है, तो if you want to upload or download कुछ भी करना है, you'll write commands and it directly goes into your Git repository, तो it's easier, ठीक है। Code deploy भी same है, you have wrote something, you can make it to deploy automatically, and code pipelining is when you do release and all, ठीक है। Management में अपना cloud watch for monitoring, cloud formations, you know, for template वगैरह create करते हैं किसी चीज का भी, you can create a template and you can keep it, later you can use it for something else. क्राउड ट्रेल ये जस्ट जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल ट्रैक एक्टिविटी ट्रैकिंग होती है, इट जस्ट कीप्स अ ट्रैक ऑफ कि इस डे पे इतना यूज हुआ, इस मंथली में इतना यूज हुआ, वीकली में वी हैव यूज्ड सो मेनी, तो दो थिंग्स। कॉन्फ़िगरेशन में वही जो भी चेंजेस वगैरह होते हैं, व्हाटएवर यू चेंजेस इट कीप्स अ ट्रैक ऑफ इट। तो फॉर एग्जांपल अभी तुम्हारे सिस्टम का कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ये था, ऑन दिस डेट यू चेंज दिस वन, तो इट विल चेंज, ओके at this time this date this was the configuration and then it was changed to this configuration, तो उसका ट्रैक, हाँ वही ट्रैक रखता है एंट्री, ठीक है। oops work to work with chef and service catalog, this I'm not sure, create and use standardized projects, so not much on this, ठीक है। और ये trusted advisor ये तो अपना जैसा like we have one thing I forgot, something on the other server also we have
परफॉर्मेंस बूस्ट करने के लिए,
ये नहीं सिर्फ ऑप्टिमाइज करता है, हाँ सिक्योरिटी वगैरह, और वो इसका आई एम नॉट श्योर क्या है, बट देखेंगे क्योंकि हर चीज वी कैन नॉट यूज आल्सो ना, एंड मेनी थिंग्स आर पेड, ओके, सो उसका भी वी हैव टू सी कॉशियस अबाउट इट, ठीक है। सिक्योरिटी एंड आइडेंटिफिकेशन इट्स ऑल डील्स विद इस लेवल पे वी डिसाइड ऑन द यूजर, ठीक है, हु कैन एक्सेस योर सिस्टम, हु कैन नॉट, okay. And if you have created something, if you have created a link or if you have created a storage or anything, so you can either create a group for that or you can assign it to user. उसका profitable क्या है, if you have created something, तुमको चाहिए कि you are owning it, तो कोई change ना करे, लेकिन you have set up a team कि 3-4 बंदे काम कर रहे हैं, they can also use it, so you can make it a part of that group, so they can use it but they cannot edit, okay. And outside that network nobody can even access it, so all these category, तो उसके हिसाब से you can have different users and you can decide even encryption level कि कैसा होना चाहिए, he has to go with a password, he can log in without password or how it is, those things you can decide. Then this is nothing but your like you set up LDAP, IDM and all, so if you set it up, what happens is instead of going through the password, it will identify the user automatically and then it will decide what all access he should have, what all access he should want,
profiles,
हाँ profiles, and then inspector that just analyzes security. You can just install it and do a setup. You don't have to do much in this. And this is for checking your any request comes in for your malicious like anyone tries to hack your system or your website, it will just filter. And this is a certificate manager when you want to install any certificates, because that is everywhere. ठीक है. उसके बाद अपना एनालिटिक्स आता है, which उसमें कई सारे हैं. EMR ये दिखा भी रहा है Hadoop के लिए. This is for just for workflows. Elastic Service Search. Okay, this is something to deal with अपना Elastic, but ये मैंने किया नहीं है. Yeah, this is the one which is popular. Okay, even I have not done this, but this one popular in the sense this EMR and Kinesis, these are more popular. क्या होता है क्योंकि when they want to do analytics and all, they are using this very often, and they are using this with Redshift. Okay, because what they do is at that time they'll use Redshift as their data warehousing system, and Kinesis they'll use for analytical. Analytical के लिए, ठीक है. And then machine learning, I'm not sure. Okay, Ananta, let's talk to him. Which shift?
लग गया.
नाइट का आना पड़ेगा ना, कौन सा करेगा?
Yes, I guess.
Okay, and then this is Internet of Things. This one you know, right?
Internet of Things is right now booming.
हाँ, it's very hot in the market. Yes. तो उसके लिए भी इसमें facility है. If someone wants to develop something like that, so they can do it. Okay. उसके लिए तो again इसमें development का वो है. It's more like
Internet of Things में है, उसको 12 लाख का पैकेज.
Okay. नहीं तो उसमें है भी. You also have to work hard. हाँ, तो work करना पड़ता है, काम भी लेते हैं. उसके बाद ये गेम लिफ्ट है अपने गेम में बनाने के लिए, गेम वालों के लिए. मोबाइल सर्विसेज में ये मेनली फॉर क्रिएटिंग एप्स. इफ यू आर इंटरेस्टेड इन क्रिएटिंग एप्स यू कैन डू इट. दिस इज अनदर फैसिलिटी, सो यूजर एंट्री एप डेटा सिंक्रोनाइजेशन. बट क्योंकि ये ऑल दीज वी हैव नॉट डन, व्हाट वी हैव डन इज दिस एरिया यूजुअली, ठीक है. और डिवाइस फॉर्म, मोबाइल एनालिटिक्स एंड एसएनएस. एसएनएस इज इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज यू कैन पुश मैसेजेस टू योर मोबाइल. उसके बाद ये अपना एपीआई आता है जिसमें कोई भी एपीआई वी कैन बिल्ड, डिप्लॉय, मैनेज. ऐप स्ट्रीम इसका आइडिया नहीं है.
समथिंग होगा एपीआई.
कौन सा? नहीं, एप्लीकेशन कुछ वो है, प्रोग्रामिंग इंटरफेस समथिंग. ऐप स्ट्रीम, क्लाउड सर्च फॉर सर्चिंग, इलास्टिक ट्रांसकोडर, एसईएस. तो इसमें एसईएस इज वन फॉर ईमेल है ना. व्हेन यू सेट इट अप यू टेल देम ओके किस केस में. और एसईएस normally works with your CloudWatch. You have to integrate with it and same for message queues. और अपना AWS workflow डिजाइन के लिए काम आता है. और this enterprise application, this was not there earlier. ये शायद बाद में आ गया, ठीक है. But not much details on this. So what we'll see today, so this overall on the dashboard on the console what we have apps on you, ठीक है. तो जिसमें से बहुत सारे ऐसे हैं which we have not used, और many are there only for the developers. So there is no point. If you want to do something we can do, like mobile app ka we can do, game programming we can do. You're interested in IoT, but IoT I think you need little more stuff than that. Other than software you even need some hardware to control. Robotics also. So let's start with this compute node. So today probably what we'll do is we'll close the session after EC2. Okay. So EC2 will create and then we'll go whatever is there, we'll try to cover. Okay. So let's go with EC2 today first. So let's click on EC2 instance. क्या क्या है इसमें? We'll see.
क्या ये एक तरीके से बस इसके ऊपर जो भी काम करेगा वो एडमिन ही होगा ना?
इसमें not importantly देखो, actually it should be admin. If you consider organization, एक organization के perspective में admin ही होना चाहिए क्योंकि he is the one who delivers the machine, ठीक है. और machine देना, machine control करना, network बनाना, ये at the developer's point they should just have the details for the machine, login, run, work. Correct. So it's same as you are giving them the infrastructure. Okay. And but good thing about this is if someone is from development side and he wants to do development, he knows everything, he can just bit of it and he can start on his own.
Okay.
Okay. But at organization level this is what you have to do. Okay. But what I am saying right now, in this AWS world or development, what work is being done in Cognizant. So they have a project where they have to create these machines, okay, and it is used mainly for deployments and everything. So starting from end to end, everything they're doing, their team only is doing. Although work is not much, but they're doing it. Okay. So, but there is a categorization because they are also delivering certificate 3 different ways. Admin, one is for implementation, one is for developer, like that. So there are three different certifications. Even I think we can see the certifications. Let's see. At least पता होना चाहिए ना कि क्या क्या है.
जॉब रोल तो पता होना चाहिए ना.
हाँ, definitely. Another good thing is AWS is available on mobile app.
Achha.
So that's good. So it has been started recently. Okay, we can see something on the clients also. Customer running web application on AWS, Expedia, Netflix, Coursera, Unilever, and these guys also, they're using it. They have clients here. Okay, so AWS certification. So yeah, so they have solution as architect, associate, all these things. Let's see here. Okay, this one, yeah. So क्या है? So this one you can see the roadmap. ठीक है? So this is how it has been designed. So there is operations role, development role, and architecting role. ठीक है? So operations is the one which does SysOps administration. So when you talk about admin, this is the guy who does rest of the thing. So it's not actually the complete admin, but instead the whole operations. So that includes all setup, everything this guy will do. Now AWS certified developer, that guy is a developer, falls in developing. And when you are good in both, you become AWS certified DevOps engineer.
Development part bhi aur operation.
Correct. And when it comes to development, it is much more. Okay. So what you can learn easily is this part. And this part also it's easily, but you have to work on this. So again, as I said, you just make logics, you should know programming and you can do. So this is what you try. So that's why I told, right, DevOps is what? Development and operation. So that's why it is. And they want to bridge that gap. And then this comes in architects, which is solution. So what these guys do, they tell you the plan. You already have an environment, how you'll migrate into AWS. Okay. Or if you have this, if you move into AWS, what is this saving you can do over the years? So all this, so architect has to plan it, and they, based on current environment, they have to design and tell the client, okay, this is how it will look in AWS, and this will be your profitability. So if you're happy with it, you'll move. So uske liye you have to go above this. So first you have to do this, then only you can move into this. Okay. So good. You can even plan for that. Okay. So let's say nothing is running now. So this is our EC2 instance page. Okay.
Developing tha aur kya tha ek aur cheez? Management.
Operations, developing, architect. Okay. It's there. Operations, developing, architect. Architecting the serial role, which you'll get after doing all this. Okay. So this is our EC2 dashboard. Okay. So we can see a list of resources here. It says 0 instances running, dedicated host, volumes, key pairs, placement groups, elastic IP, snapshot, load balancer, security groups. So this dashboard is for the overall. So if you have created 1 instance, 2 instance, 3 instance, then it will show detail for everything. Okay. Now what we have here, before going into it, before creating it, let's just go through little on this. So into dashboard, we have something called events. So if anything happens, if you're monitoring your EC2 instances, okay, if you have created a monitor for that, so anything happens, let's say root file system full or kuch bhi, any disk space issue, anything, to wo hai, it will be logged in here. So that is for the events. Tags. Tags is nothing but you create different machines, you give them a different name. So for example, you are creating a machine for some purpose. You want to make it a web server, but what kind of web server? Maybe in your project you have 3 kind of web server. Okay, so this is my Nginx web server, this is Apache. So you can name it something. So giving that tag, you'll understand. Okay, what kind of it. Okay, reports. हाँ, वो एक बनाया हुआ है, तो उसको देखेंगे, अभी डाउन है. फिर reports है. तो reports is nothing but what happens is, this is cloud, right? Public cloud. So maybe your operations run something, from 12 to 8. So every day it will run from 12 to 8. So you can instruct your resources that you start your machine at 12 and you shut it down at 8, because maybe it's a development, it's not a production. So you can afford to do that. So what it will give you is a lot of saving, right? First of all, you're not buying the machine, you're using it on a cloud. And let's say if just, for example, it's 2 rupees an hour. So you're using 12 to 8 every day, which is like 8 hours. So you're paying 16 rupees every day. Okay. If you keep that machine running for the whole 24 hours, it will be costing you 48 rupees, right? So that way you can control it. So if someone is paying for a machine, this reporting helps them to understand its usage. Okay, so you can plan it that way. And even if they will charge you for something, let's say Amazon said, okay, this is your bill for this month. Okay, you got $160. Now when you check it, you'll say, no, I use it for this many. How you whatever your charge is wrong, and then they'll review and they'll probably refund. So for that, it's reporting. So this is only for EC2 usage. How you use it will give you trends also. Okay, so So like we can see, EC2 reports provides detailed usage on billing data for your EC2 instances. So based on how long your EC2 instance is used, it will give you the detail. Okay. Then limits. Okay. Why these limits? Okay. So what happens? It depends upon the kind of account you are holding. Okay. So you are a free user, or what kind of EC2 instances you are using. So there is something called micro instance, small, X small, large, X large, like that. So depending upon the machine also, their capacity also differs. Okay. So for example, small, you will have RAM, minimum RAM, 512 RAM and 10 GB hard disk, that way. In larger one, you have more RAM. Okay. So based on that, and on run, if you have bought your machine, there is different ways of buying also. EC2. Okay. You can buy on demand, you can bid for a machine, that also is possible, or you can just buy upfront. Okay, so if you wish. So based on that, your demand also changes. We'll even see something for the buying. I think you've gone through that AWS courses, which you got earlier. So in that, there is something about pricing model, AWS pricing model. Okay, or let me just put it up quickly, just so that we know. It should come up, pricing. So this is what we have to see. So EC2 branches, there are mainly four ways. So this one is for free tier. Okay, so on demand are the users which they use, and based on the usage they pay. So for the number of hours you'll use, So what I was saying was this. So there are different machines. So here you have nano, you have micro, small, medium, large, and again this is T2. Right, T2 nano, T2. Then again, same thing comes M4 large, M4 X large, M4 to X large. So what differs is, you see the number of vCPU, ECU, memory, storage, and Linux usage. Usage rates also differs. It is cheap. It's per hour, right? So it's that's why people will pay for it, isn't it? Let's say if you have to buy a machine, if you want to create a cloud, you have 2 choices. You want to create a private cloud, what you can do is buy 3 terabyte a Wi-Fi box with everything integrated in. That becomes a private cloud. But how much you spend for that? Probably about 40-50,000. Okay. And how long you'll be using it? 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Maybe after that you want to change it because new trends comes in. But same thing, if the same capacity you get here and you calculate, okay, that in 5 years, this will cost you only probably about 10, 20, max 30K. Still you are saving 10K, and you are still in the line to work with the latest technology, right? So you don't have to say, okay, this is my older hardware now. They will be upgrading it with the time. They do every time. So from the time this year itself, they have launched so many new. and even instances, right? If someone's required more instances, and there is one more thing I'll just tell you. So this one, if you can see, general purpose. So general purpose is like someone who needs memory also, CPU also, disk also. Suppose तो a mix bag कि सब लोग काम कर लें. बट किसी किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का ऐसा भी रिक्वायरमेंट हो सकता है कि उनको सीपीयू पावर ज्यादा चाहिए या मेमोरी पावर ज्यादा चाहिए या दे जस्ट आर मोर कंसर्न अबाउट स्पेस, बाकी सब उनके पास है. तो उस हिसाब से भी then they say compute optimize. So when they compute optimize, that means it's a faster machine. Yes. So machine will be faster. Then GPU again with more capacity and everything. Then memory optimize. That means it will have more memory, other things will be less. Storage optimize, more storage and others to control it. So that way you can do it. Okay. So that was on demand. So that means the way you use it, you'll be charged based on that because everything is per hour. Then we have EC2 reserved instances. That means you want to reserve it for yourself. That means you are the dedicated user, because mainly what happens in Amazon scenario, they have all these machines, okay, and everything is running, and they give you a share from same machine. Okay, let's say you are not using that machine, maybe the same instance they can give it to someone else. Yeah, possible, right? So they deal with that. That's why they can afford to give it to everyone. Because they are making money from the same machine. Yes. So that is on demand. But reserved is, it's only reserved for you. Yes. So nobody can touch that machine because you don't want to compromise on anything. You don't want to compromise on security, data, anything. So reserved. So it's just like you bought a machine from them, and any capacity you can buy. I think Max, they have mentioned something like 36 vCPUs, 116, like it's quite huge, no? That D2.x, 8x large. Okay, so this is your reserved instances. So you buy it like 1 year term or 3 year term, you have to buy that way. Okay, so this is reserved. And then इसको जल्दी जल्दी स्क्रॉल कर दे रहा हूँ ताकि बाकी का दो भी देख लें. नहीं तो यहाँ पे देख लेते हैं. लेट्स लीव दैट, वो स्क्रॉल करने का. तो मतलब ये मेनली ये चार ही हैं, ठीक है. तो यू हैव रिजर्व इंस्टेंस, okay, where space, memory, everything is real. Then dedicated, which is dedicated only for you. Dedicated host and spot instances. एक और इसमें होता है spot instances में क्या होता है? If it is given there, let me see. Okay. So there is one more thing. Sometimes you can request them. Okay. So earlier I told you bidding. So you can bid for some machine. So but bidding doesn't mean that you will get that machine. You bid for it if nobody else bids, if you're lucky. Okay. And it's free. So they are not going to. Maybe they'll give it to you. Okay. So
they are not talking about the hardware terms. No?
It's just on cloud. You're bidding your machine on cloud. So mainly you want to buy a machine, but you don't want to go with the reserve one. Yes. And on demand, you think, maybe your users are more, so maybe it's costly for you. And at the same time, you don't want to go for dedicated host because it will be further costly. So ऐसा कुछ चाहिए कि dedicated type का ही हो, but you get it for cheap. So at that time, you'll bid. So if no one else is bidding and nobody wants to use it, maybe they can give it to you if you're lucky. So that becomes yours. So what you can do bidding is you can bid even for per hour pricing. So that is possible. Okay, so these are the mains. EBS optimized. Okay, so that was for the pricing, what we saw here. So this service limits. Okay, so service limits is based on your system. What kind of system is it? It will limit your service. For example, C1 hai to limit 20. C1.x large 20. So whatever we were seeing, machines, list of machines, based on this, you will have. Now, if you want to increase limits and these machines belong to you, you can even request them. And it's just on the cloud, so they can do it. Yeah. It is same as someone's on Exalogic asks you, our V server is 24 gigs, but we need more capacity, make it 48 gigs. What do? You go there, update the server, increase more memory and give it to them. So similarly, you want to increase anything, CPU or anything, they can do it for you. Right. So this is on the EC2 boards. These are the one. Now let's go to the instances. Okay. So these are the instances. So instances is nothing but the number of machines you create. Okay. So for example, this is the machine which I have created. t2.micro. This is one of the machines which I am using, and right now if you see here it is stopped. Okay, so you have name, which is nothing but the tag which I have given. You have instance id. This instance id is nothing but to identify a particular machine. Okay, ये instance type micro, nano, जो भी अलग अलग, large, x large. हाँ, there is something called this availability zone. Okay, why is this availability zone? हाँ, ये है. तो availability zone इनका क्या रहता है, एक region में और within a region they'll have these availability zones. This is for the reason if you want to create an auto scaling group. For example, अगर मैं auto scaling group बनाता, तो I would have 3 machines. Okay, then they would have given availability zone in 3 different ones. So this is west, other one they would have given in east, another one in the west, maybe 2C. So what happens is if this machine goes down, the other machine in the auto scaling will automatically start and it will pick all applications. तो उसके लिए ये रहता है, ठीक है. और ये alarm status, if you'll set it up, it will be there. Public DNS अगर कुछ देना है, public IP बाहर से कनेक्ट करने के लिए, हाँ, बाहर से कनेक्ट करने के लिए, ठीक है. So now, so these are the instances. Spot request. So I don't have any spot request. अगर करूँगा तो it will show here. Okay. Let it come up. So nothing. Okay. So if you want it, this is like they said, nice spot. So that means you have to request it. So when you have an account, if you want, you can request it. Similar reserved instances. हाँ, तो because I have not requested any of these. So purchase reserved instances. So anything which is, that means it is reserved, ready with them. Okay. As soon as you say you want it, they'll give it to you. Scheduled. Anything scheduled to be delivered. Yeah. Then you have dedicated. Dedicated, same again. Everything is for you. You want it, you can purchase it. So this is about instance. Okay. As soon as you click on allocate a host, you do order and everything, it will come. You'll get a bill. They'll give you. Best thing is whatever you'll ask for, they'll just give it to you. Yeah. Okay. And later they'll send you a bill. So you need to be cautious what you're ordering and what you're not. Okay. Now this is one of the good features, images. So in here you have images like AMIs. This is called Amazon Machine Image. Okay. So let's say I've created this machine and I've installed few things inside it. Okay. Next time I want to create machine with all those applications already on that machine, all those installation. तो क्या करूँगा, यहाँ पे पकड़ के I'll create an image. Okay. I'll create an image. ठीक है. और वो image create करके I'll store it. So next time when I'll create instance, उस time पे I'll use this image. यहाँ पे पड़ी जितनी भी image होगी मैं उसमें से सर्च कर लूँगा. हाँ. मैंने पास जो बनाएंगे उसको उठा के डाल देंगे. तो normally अभी हम लोग बनाएंगे machine, तो we'll see that when we are creating now, we are choosing one of the pre-built images. Okay. So it will be nothing but a Linux image. So it will install your Linux to set up and everything. But this, if you it will become your customized image. So that means it will have Linux, but on top of that, it will have Apache. It will have any software you have installed. For example, few binaries were not working. Those binaries also it will work. मतलब यहाँ पे कोई अगर मान लीजिए कि कोई सर्वर ऑलरेडी चल रहा है, मतलब कोई चीज मैंने Apache या कोई भी सर्वर चल रहा है, अगर मुझे उसका एक और रिक्वायरमेंट वैसे ही आ गई तो मैंने यहाँ पे लाके इमेज क्रिएट कर दी. तो ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट जितने भी सर्वर जितने भी सॉफ्टवेयर उसके ऊपर भी चल रहे होंगे, उस सर्वर के ऊपर इमेज बन जाएगा. हाँ, इमेज बन जाएगी. हाँ, और वो नेक्स्ट टाइम जब लॉन्च करोगे तो मे बी सब कुछ चाहिए, बस ये इमेज को यूज कर लो, वो सब डाल देगा. ठीक है. तो दैट इज, तो उससे क्या होगा, इट गिव्स यू फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी. क्योंकि फॉर एग्जांपल तुम्हें एक काम आया है कि स्पेशली इट गिव्स यू फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी. जब आर्किटेक्ट तुम्हारा जाएगा, आर्किटेक्ट will tell you, okay, this is your environment, we can do it here and we can do it in 10 days. Okay. In this setup, for them it takes about 30 days. What he'll say on AWS, we'll do it in 10 days. Why? Because here this image creation and all is not possible. But what this guy will do here intelligently is he will see, okay, this is what we have. So your 3 machines are similar. These 3 are similar. So similar machines, he'll say, do set up once on these machines, do properly, and then copy and paste. So it becomes like copy and paste. So other machines, while creating itself, you give them and this will be ready. Okay. ठीक है. Then we have bundle task. Bundle task like more than 1 machines. Okay. उसके बाद we have this elastic block storage, which is nothing but on your EC2 instance, the storage, your storage part, that is your elastic block storage. So any of the machine, if you will ever terminate, if you click on terminate, this will be lost. Remember this. This is very important. So terminate in the sense, when you have these EC2 instances, you do a right click, you get many options.
Okay.
So you get start. Right now this machine is shut down, so you're getting a start and terminate. If you do terminate, whatever data I have, everything will be gone. The reason being that elastic block storage will be lost.
Okay.
It will tell, okay, this machine is ordered for terminated. That means this machine has to go from Amazon. Okay, they'll remove this machine, so your EBS also will be lost.
Okay.
So again, you can, if you do start, you will get what you had.
Okay.
And then snapshots. Snapshot is nothing but, if you want to keep your machine safe. Let's say, like I said, unfortunately, you know, you terminated your machine. So whatever your data was there, it's all gone. You have nothing. So, and you do not save it. So for that, you can create something called snapshot, which is nothing but a copy of your volume.
Okay.
So let's say tomorrow, unfortunately, you deleted it, still you have a snapshot. When you create a new machine, you can just attach this snapshot onto that machine, and this snapshot can be attached as a volume in the other machine. Okay. Then these are on networking parts. So security groups. Security groups actually decides what your machine can access, what it cannot. Okay. So you can make it everything accessible. You can make it limited accessible. So you can even tell your instance to access only on these IPs.
Okay.
So you can tell only access 123 IP, only access this. So all these settings you can do here. Elastic IP. What is this? When you allocate elastic IP, your public machine name can be changed to anything else, a familiar name or any other IP. Okay, and it becomes easier that way. We'll just see. This is also chargeable if you'll keep it for. This is chargeable only in the case when your EC2 instance is down.
Okay.
Agar ho gaya, but elastic IP is still there.
Okay.
Until or unless it is allocated to some machine, you will not get any charge.
Okay.
लेकिन अगर तुमने किसी मशीन को असाइन किया, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो मशीन शट डाउन कर दी, बट इलास्टिक आईपी स्टिल देयर है, तो वो ये हो जाएगा कि राइट नाउ इट इज नॉट एलोकेटेड. ओके, ये वो मशीन तो शट डाउन हो गई, देन यू विल गेट अ बिल फॉर दिस कि यू आर यूजिंग दिस आईपी. ठीक है, इट्स मोर लाइक दैट. तो इफ यू आर यूजिंग इलास्टिक आईपी, यूज इट, बट मशीन शुड बी रनिंग. ठीक है.
इलास्टिक का मतलब यही तो होता है कि इलास्टिक मतलब
देखो इलास्टिक आईपी क्यों बोला जाता है यहाँ पे, उसका रीजन है. आई टेल यू व्हाट हैपेंस इज योर मशीन्स, राइट, दिस अमेजन इंस्टेंसेस, इट्स वन ऑफ द ट्रिकीस्ट मशीन. ओके, आई विल शो यू, दिखा देता हूँ. तो क्योंकि इलास्टिक आईपी देने का मतलब क्या हुआ, देयर इज ऑलरेडी आईपी, देन व्हाई दे विल गिव इलास्टिक आईपी. सो इफ यू सी हियर, दिस इज माय मशीन. Right now there is no public DNS, public IP. Okay, because machine, let me start the machine, then we'll see. So that makes it. So I'm starting this machine right now. Okay, let it get started. So you can see here, so it was stopped, now changing to pending. As soon as that comes in, we'll see. So what happens for most of these instances?
IP क्या हमेशा वेरी करती रहती है, मतलब डायनामिक टाइप होती है?
नहीं, that is facts. तो ये जो है, your this machine, Amazon machine which we create instance, whenever you will start it, it will change its IP.
Okay.
And that's a problem, isn't it? Problem क्यों? You created your integration, Apache, WebLogic, blah blah blah, whatever, and then you specify IP, isn't it?
Yeah.
What happens if your IP changes? Everything is gone. Yes. Right? So, and this, yeah. For example, this is your IP now.
Yes.
There is no elastic IP. But elastic IP is the one when you create it, and once you allocate it to one of the machines, that IP will always be same. Okay. So instead of this IP, you can use elastic IP. Okay. So your integration or nothing will be affected, because this machine maybe you'll shut down. Okay. But as soon as you bring it down and you start it again, this will get a new IP.
Yeah, but elastic IP will be same.
So that's the reason. तो इसीलिए इसको elastic बोलते हैं, because it's और इसके दो एड्रेस होते हैं. So here also we have something called private and public. मैं भी दिखाता हूँ. Like you can see, ये public DNS है here, and public IP. ठीक है? And here private DNS. So private DNS in AWS is for internal communication. Okay, for connecting and other things. यहाँ पे ये है अपना पब्लिक के लिए. तो anything you want to access, if you have deployed a web application or web logic or anything,
कोई भी सर्विस जो चीज मैं चाहता हूँ
जो भी हो,
यूज हो सके,
हाँ, तो उसमें
वो देंगे.
इन दोनों में से कोई भी यूज कर सकते हो. You can use this address, या तो ये वाला यूज कर लो पब्लिक DNS, और या ये IP यूज कर लो. ठीक है. और इलास्टिक IP का वही फंडा है, इसमें कुछ भी नहीं करते हैं. राइट नाउ मैं दिस थिंग इज रनिंग, आई विल क्रिएट वन IP, इलास्टिक IP. ये क्रिएट हो गया,
अपने आप ही देता है वो.
हाँ, वो असाइन करेगा और इसको एलोकेट एसोसिएट मैं कर दूंगा. ठीक है, एसोसिएट एंड दिस सर्वर इज इंटेलिजेंट. ठीक है, इट अंडरस्टैंड्स automatically will give you list of instances running instances. तो अगर जो भी होगा 4-5 देगा तो you have to select one. So यहाँ पे बचा है, ये दे दिया. ठीक है, और इसमें से कोई भी एक देना है. ठीक है, doesn't matter, it's nothing but it's all same. अगर इंटरनेट सर्विस भी दोगे तो देखो, as soon as I given this IP address और इसके बीच का आ गया. ठीक है, I'll associate and see it says if you associate an IP address with your instance, your current public IP address is released. Okay, that means जो ये अपना उसमें public IP address है वो नहीं यूज होके इलास्टिक IP का चलेगा, but internally it is working through that.
Yes,
क्योंकि वो private IP के थ्रू वर्क कर रहा है. Okay, अब क्या हुआ, यहाँ पे इलास्टिक IP आ गया. यहाँ पे अगर देखें इसने क्या किया, इलास्टिक IP is this, ये नेटवर्क इंटरफेस है, प्राइवेट IP ये है 21.2. ठीक है, let's see. Yeah, you see here 21.2. That means internally it is connected to this private. और अब ये हो गया अपना इलास्टिक. पहले का पब्लिक जो था वो उड़ गया. ठीक है, यहाँ का भी एड्रेस देखो चेंज हो गया, क्योंकि उसने बोला कि if you assign this, your public DNS will be released. So they have released this and this becomes it. अब इसका क्या हो गया, इसका फायदा क्या हुआ, जैसे मैंने बोला इलास्टिक IP बना दिया. अब इस मशीन को मैं शट डाउन भी करूं, ठीक है, और फिर से स्टार्ट करूं, तो भी I'll have only this IP. अच्छा, ठीक है, बट उसमें क्या होता, उसमें वो नहीं होता. चलो इसको देख भी लेते हैं. मान लीजिए कोई सॉफ्टवेयर मैंने रन किया होता तो फिर वो सॉफ्टवेयर के मतलब सर्वर रन कोई भी, हाँ, तो उसमें रन नहीं होता. तो नहीं होता. इसको देख लेते हैं. चलो ठीक है, इसको मैं शट डाउन करता हूँ. ठीक, लेट्स शट इट डाउन एंड सी. मजेदार है, मगर ये मतलब ऐसा लग रहा है जैसे कि कंसोल बैठे सिर्फ उसको यूज करना है. नहीं, तो ये तो के हिसाब से दिस इज ऑल जस्ट क्रिएटिंग है. दिस इज ऑल क्रिएटिंग. क्रिएट करने के बाद जो वर्क करते हो दैट यू डू इन EC2 इंस्टेंस. अब व्हेन यू गेट EC2 इंस्टेंसेस, उस पे वर्क करोगे ना, तो उसमें क्या क्या फैसिलिटीज है. जो शेफ का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्रिएट करोगे वो कहाँ करोगे वहां. तो सी व्हाट आर ऑपरेशंस. सो दिस इज व्हाट वी आर सीइंग इज ऑपरेशन. उसके बाद आता है योर डेवलपमेंट. So that means operation is to support the development, right? So mainly you are doing this operation to do development. And that is DevOps. So actually you develop things. Only thing is, क्या हो जाता है कि you develop and you are not dependent on any other team to provide you infrastructure. Got it? So that means अगर तुमको कल को ये काम करना है कि मेरा टेस्टिंग में 10,000 वॉल्यूम डेटा आ रहा है, अरे उन लोगों ने सर्वर ही नहीं प्रोवाइड किया, मैं टेस्टिंग नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ मेरा. ठीक है, तो वो, और यहाँ वाले बोल रहे हैं कि हमारे पास बिजनेस का अप्रूवल नहीं है, कुछ मतलब हॉच पॉच. ओके, वंस यू गेट दिस, बस यू हैव 10 days of time and this is our business. You develop it and test it. Okay, now reason is they have given you access, you create machine, test it, whatever you just tell them, okay, we want this, once approved, so you only have to do everything. तो मशीन क्रिएट करो, डेवलप करो, डिप्लॉय करो. तो और फिर जहां गया टेस्टिंग में, प्रोडक्शन की टीम में रिलीज कर दिया. DevOps आया ही पिक्चर में इसीलिए because there were so many discrepancies between different team members. Okay, and there was so much of pushback. Release used to fight this production guys, production used to fight these developers they'll fight testers. So all these things was happening. But eventually company, yes, and company was at loss because क्या it's all managed ना. 4 लोग बैठे हैं और अगर एक बात में लड़ें और अगर सब अपनी बात में हैं, तो we cannot reach in one decision, right? Somewhere we have to do a compromise. So earlier people were doing compromise at some way. तो कुछ कहीं पे मैं दबूंगा, कहीं पे कोई दबेगा, ठीक है, okay, let's do it this way, fine. It's all internal politics. Now they wanted to avoid this. Okay, there should be one standard way to do it. So everything they made it a system. So ये है, ठीक है. So once we do that, then next thing comes is development, where you know scripting and you do other things. Okay. Okay, so stopped.
Yes.
Right.
देखिए अब नहीं चेंज हुआ है.
हाँ, तो I'm clicking just there just to make sure कि refresh हो गया. But उस टाइम पे क्या था? What we noticed कि Elastic IP जब उड़ा दिया था, मतलब Elastic IP जब नहीं था, तो this was not showing any IP. Yes. क्यों? क्योंकि वो shutdown था, तो नई IP शो नहीं कर रहा था क्योंकि उसको एक न्यू जनरेट करता है. अब क्या करते हैं? इस IP को उड़ा देते हैं. नहीं, पहले नहीं उड़ाते, पहले स्टार्ट करते हैं, उसके बाद उड़ाएंगे.
आपका ये चार्ज करेगा ना?
कौन सा?
अभी चलाने का बराबर क्या?
नहीं
करेगा.
क्रेडिट कार्ड में है तो उसका एक लिमिट है.
अच्छा.
वहां तो फ्री रहता है.
अच्छा.
कभी कभी चार्ज एक्चुअली हो गया था मुझे और पता नहीं चला था. जैसे चार्ज, इफ यू वांट टू सी चार्ज जस्ट गो हियर, बिलिंग एंड कॉस्ट.
ओके.
So this will tell you for future also based on your usage.
क्या मैं भी अपना अकाउंट बना सकता हूँ?
Yes, of course. तो इसी में सेटअप करवाया था, बता दो.
हाँ,
इसी में सेटअप करवाया था तुम्हारे कार्ड में.
घर से तो यूज कर ही सकता हूँ.
हाँ, of course. मैंने वही वैसे तो सीखा है और क्या. तो you can do, just be cautious कि क्या यूज करना है क्या नहीं करना है. और ठीक है. तो okay, so at least few practicals we did today. Fine. Yeah. Now again we are back to dashboard. Now you can see there one running instance, one volumes, one key pairs, one elastic IPs, 5 security groups because we have created 5. I have created 5. ठीक है. तो इसी 2 instance probably creation will see tomorrow. आज इसी में कर लेते हैं. Now it is running. We have the same IP.
Yes.
Let me disassociate this now. Okay. So this is running. I think it will say you have to. Okay. Done. Now if I have disassociated, I have to remember that only I have to remove it also actually, because okay, let me first stop this. Now you see the IP changed.
Yes.
So this is the underlying IP. Okay. Now remember this IP 21.244. ठीक है. So I don't want to use this anymore. Gone. If I'll disassociate and I'll keep that IP, I will be charged for that. Like, elastic IP, because elastic IP is a big facility. Right?
Okay.
So this is 21.244. We have a refresh button. If you want to refresh, you can refresh from here as well. So I stopped. No, nothing. Now 21.244 was IP, right? So let's start and वो एक नया IP रहेगा. ठीक है. ये है placement groups. If you want to make a group, key pair is nothing but your whatever key pair. This is my key pair, and every individual will have its own key pair. And this you should never share it with anyone. This is how your system connects. If you lose this, you cannot connect your system.
Okay.
ठीक है. This is your network interfaces. So nothing but I have created a VPC. Okay. For that, I have created some security groups and all those. For that, how that system will talk. These are network interfaces. Nothing you do much here. It is created automatically. So see, everything is being created. So just remember that we are creating a machine. So that machine is being created. Its storage is created. Its networking is created. Its security is created. What port should access? What port should not be accessed? What IP should be accessed? So everything is getting created in 2 minutes time, right? Now just think about the similar thing you do in Excel logic. How long it takes? Right? It takes time. So there is a big difference. So when people say cloud, this is what cloud should be, right? It should be like touch and go.
Yes.
Okay. So okay, this is more later. Let's see. So 21.244. That was the address. change it to 32.162. So all address is being changed. Okay, so every time it changes, that's why we need elastic IP. तो अभी स्टॉप कर देता हूँ इसको मैं, और देयर आर फ्यू मोर थिंग्स विद कवर इट फास्ट, इसको भी कर लेते हैं, ठीक है। उसके बाद अपना बढ़ते हैं लोड बैलेंसिंग। सो वी हैव लोड बैलेंसर्स एंड टारगेट ग्रुप्स। सो लोड बैलेंसर के क्या है, इट्स for that you need to have different machines, okay, but you will create load balancer here. So when you create load balancer, so application load balancer or classic load balancer, okay, so that means there will be just one to many, okay, and here it's one to many but with segregation. Okay. So you do a partition. So this is one to many but with no partition. This is one to many with partition. So let's say if you want to go with this or this, let's say classic itself. Anyways, we have just one machine. So some name you have to give. Yeah, my VPC Connect I have created on my default. If I'll do, it will create a new one. Okay. यहाँ पे क्या होता है, what you define कि your house, your system, मतलब जो instances है, how they'll be load balanced, उसका configuration you give it here. So like I told ना, availability zone का हो तो availability zone A, B, C है, तो उसके बीच में कैसे load balance हो वो यहाँ पे दे देते हो, and based on that it does the load balancing. ठीक है, इसको भी देखेंगे जब और एक दो instance create करेंगे, we'll see that. Then उसी में कुछ नहीं, अच्छा उसी के साथ जाऊंगा, ठीक है। टारगेट ग्रुप्स, तो यहाँ पे कोई भी
किसके साथ जाएंगे?
ब्रजेश,
वो तो हम लोग घर चले जाएंगे ना, उधर चले जाएंगे।
आज ही जा रहे हो ना?
हाँ।
अब टाइम है, चलो प्लेस कर दो कैब, ठीक है। ऑटो स्केलिंग, लॉन्च कॉन्फ़िगरेशन, ये है अपना द वन व्हिच आई टोल्ड। इसमें क्या होता है, व्हेनेवर यू डू ऑटो स्केलिंग, इट आस्क्स यू कि कैसा क्रिएट करना है, 1 to 2 or 4 or something you can create on your own. So mainly it asks for one machine how many machines you need. You can have 2, you can have 3, you can have 4. Okay. So it's nothing but same machine is being replicated twice or thrice, and it's ready. So your system is for high availability. Your system is available all the time. Any issue happens with this, automatically second server will start. So this goes down, this is started automatically, and all services will be up and running. So there will be no issues. And in the meanwhile, this the one which went down, right? You don't have to correct this. Maybe Amazon itself can do it for you. और उसमें एक चीज और होती है कि sometimes let's say इतना वॉल्यूम आ गया कि your all 4 is also occupied. Amazon can give you additional. अच्छा. But auto scaling का main purpose यही होता है कि your system auto scales it. मतलब वॉल्यूम अभी है in the morning, let's say 10,000 rows of data. Okay. For that, you need at least 3 servers. So out of 4, 3 is being used. 1 is not being used. So 1 automatically अपना कुछ काम में नहीं रहेगा, and will be used for some other. And जिस time पे just 1 is required, then 3 will be down, and just 1 will be working. So it auto scales automatically. उससे क्या efficiency ज़्यादा हो जाता है. तो वहाँ पे configuration create करना है. अगर और यहाँ पे क्या है, if you have created some group, it will just show here. ठीक है, we can. और उसके लिए हमको configuration create करना पड़ता है. And then we have commands. So AWS also, what we are doing in console, right? There are many things we can do through command lines. Okay, but they are specialized commands. So and it is called AWS CLI. Okay, why AWS CLI? Because it's like command line interface for AWS. Because command line itself starts with something like AWS. So that way. And then documents, manage instance, activations. Documents में अपना documents वगैरह कुछ ये है जो भी है देखना है Windows प्लेटफॉर्म के लिए.
अच्छा, ये आपके में है कि वैसे जनरली सबके में पड़ा रहेगा?
कौन सा?
Documents. नहीं,
ये this is for everyone.
This is for everyone.
हाँ, तो अगर
कोई करने के लिए है ना?
हाँ, ये क्योंकि it is for Windows environment ना, Windows के लिए है, कुछ भी है तो मिल जाएगा. यहाँ पे even देखो ये लिखा हुआ है MSI parameters permission, तो ये मतलब इनबिल्ट है. और हाँ, एक और चीज है EC2 also same way. for both Windows and Linux. तो दोनों के लिए ही होता है, तो Windows में भी कर सकते हैं, Linux में भी कर सकते हैं. और ये अपना एक्टिवेशन, क्रिएट एंड एक्टिवेशन, ठीक है. तो ये let's close it here. Tomorrow we'll create machines and we'll see, and we'll create this auto scaling groups also, and this volume and snapshots also we can see. This IP anyway we have seen. Security groups we'll see later, क्योंकि उसमें it all comes to when you install your application, then Tomcat should be available in one port, because Amazon everything you have to tell it, okay, because it's very secure. If you are sure of your architecture, what you want to do, so you already know this IP, this port, this IP. So while creating, at first time itself, you create a group, and in that group itself, you define that these all should be there. This is my criteria and should be there. And whenever you create, assign it that group, automatically everything works. Otherwise, it will not let you run anything on any port. So if you try to bring up some server on some machine and port, server will be up, but you cannot access it until this allows. So that is good. Okay, so let's end this session here today.
ये मैं